Welcome everyone to more of our Linux distribution live development here on our channel. Last days, not only did I wasted too much time getting started with Linux on my PlayStation development system, but that is for another day. But in general, that reminded me PS3 and the recurring theme of a win-win, improving stuff for everyone. And I was thinking, so PS3, if you don't know that, even if you don't use that, that is using a bootloader called Petitboot that, as far as I remember, was invented those days, like 2005, also a gazillion years ago, right? By Sony, or probably the IBM-related Linux developers there of Sony, electronic, whatever system stuff. And so what that is, as I mentioned this in another video, so basically I think their thinking was, let's not port also a bootloader. We have our Linux kernel here that supports this hypervisor interface, and let's just use the Linux kernel we already got here also as a bootloader. And at that time, a new kexec of in-kernel executing another kernel. And so far so good, right? And so one frustrating thing is with each time I set up some PS3 here, obviously for a PS3 fan, right? It annoys me certainly a great deal that all this Petitboot stuff is like either aging. Also, the Petitboot that Sony released back, they were horrible, right? So the worst garbage to use. It's each time, like just yesterday, I flashed that on my DECR 1K, and it's like, how could the people even freaking work with this TM, right? But anyway, so that's certainly frustrating. The crazy thing is, in my opinion, the best Petitboot for PS3 actually by those who initially did, actually that was, all right, I think, yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. So yeah, those who freed the PS3 again for other OS++ running Linux with Game OS. So ironically, so the original Sony IBM Petitboot, and the community hacker improved stuff, totally amazing stuff. But obviously nobody is updating that since obviously over a decade right now. So that brings me to the point, win-win situation, right? Why not make our T2 stuff better? Because what this basically is, this Petitboot is just a freaking kernel and initrd packed together, right? Of course, just what we boot here is our Linux every day. And so I was thinking, because already the last years when I brought back the PS3 Linux stuff here to life on this channel, one of my earlier videos here, and still keeping this maintained. And I always thought, like, I'm not touching this Petitboot stuff, right? Because I have only so much time, and it's like mostly waste for like this PS3 stuff, right? But actually, when you think about this as a win-win situation of improving the initrd, so what would that mean? That means what my thinking yesterday was like, why don't we make our default initrd? Well, in my opinion, our default initrd is already super amazing, but why not make it even more freaking amazing that we can actually use it for embedded and PS3 use like this? I have already on my growing to-do here, obviously, it's like also on GitHub, way too much stuff. And one thing that we actually need ourselves and our customers is secure shell in the initrd for server maintenance, full disk encryption, unlocking, the fun stuff you want nowadays. I should have this actually, secure shell or drop here. Do I not have this here somewhere? Did I delete that? Oh, let's maybe add this back. I should have been somewhere, but initrd, like drop here, or like let's call it as secure shell. So, and this is also the hacker improved Petitboot for PS3 actually also came with Dropbox for you can log into your PS3 in the early bootloader. So yeah, that means adding kexec, that is also, leave in the comments below. Also, the craziest stuff is IBM still kind of sort of maintains it, right? So this is still the last commit recently, as of March. And I'm not saying shipping the whole Petitboot stuff, because the Petitboot stuff is basically an own distribution. I think they usually use, once upon a time they might have used Buildroot, maybe they nowadays use WRT. And certainly we don't want to replicate a whole distribution. We basically already have an initrd, right? So this is just adding some stuff to the initrd. Some includes the graphical chooser. I would even say the graphical chooser is for me mostly I neither need this. I mean, maybe some but even an end user on a PS3, if they want to run their Amiga homebrew or other SNES emulation and stuff, they don't really need a graphical chooser. So I would actually argue end users also don't want to see it. End users just want to boot straight to their retro, vintage emulation, Linux and stuff. And I would not want this in any case due to complexity and edit bloat and stuff, and like who freaking needs graphical chooser stuff. So what this means for us is basically adding, as I added here already, kexec by default. I think usually we don't really use that already. Then the other things that I personally, so finally it's something for myself, right? Secure shell in the initrd, also even for my workstation, right? If I switch that on remotely and want to log in, access full disk encryption remotely, even for my own, not only VMs and servers and stuff, but even a cloud orchestration of serverless cloud orchestrations, but even my Epic thread wrapping workstation. And then adding some surrounding menu. What I've seen, of course, there is SSH, like for initrd, there is stuff floating around. Maybe some distributions even have some enablement packages and stuff. The ones I have seen have been rather hacky in terms of unlocking your Luke's passphrase. It should be a little bit more integrated to work really nicely. It's certainly some days of engineering. But yeah, leave in the comments below what you think. That certainly would make more sense than dealing with this. So of course this Petitboot, I mean the crazy stuff is the old Petitboot. I didn't look into that Petitboot here. So apparently IBM still wants or is using that for some open power firmware stuff maybe. And I didn't look into that recently, but probably they don't use shell anymore. The 15-year-old original Sony electronic system stuff there, that was shell scripted. And of course our stuff would also be shell scripted. Yeah, the stuff even has a UI. But yeah, leave in the comments below what you think. We don't do this tomorrow. It's more like even like of all IBM Linux on IBM systems stuff, right? Power 8, 9, and previously PS3. But that would certainly make some sense and modernize the stuff. Again, we would not have that tomorrow. We need to think about a little bit how to make this clean. For secure shell, we would usually use drop beer. The problem is also adding more packages to our, we keep it minimal, we try to keep it beautiful, minimal and stupid simple, and then we add complexity like drop beer. This is also why certainly not adding UI stuff there. kexec of all things, which also by the way we should check if we have some maybe kexec tools. Oh, kexec tools. I don't remember updating that recently. Tools of, what do we do? Wouldn't surprise me if we, this also moved maybe, because this stuff constantly moves around. Yeah, leave in the comments below. Have you ever used Petitboot on anything other than PS3? And kexec on servers. Are you using kexec to improve your server reboot time instead of going through a firmware reboot cycle? Kernel executing directly into your updated kernel, potentially, maybe. And the recurring theme of the stuff moves around. This is so annoying. If you're wondering why we don't have the latest version, then that is why. Also this stuff is a little bit messed up. Yeah, figured. I always wonder why this is not put into some more generic places. 2.24, and we should get that from there. Yeah, so that is decades newer. That is when stuff moves around. Here's also, so we can probably use, hey, 3 freaking weeks ago. So does it download directly straight to, okay, is it even downloaded? Yeah, come on. Copy that. Somehow this is also, yeah, this is, not sure how this happened. Copy and paste. maybe this sentence, proper sentence. And all right, we also need to certainly. Yeah, this, I was thinking, yeah, I should make this a dedicated video though. With the PS3 development tool system, obviously. You want to share, like, and subscribe for proper summary. Also, by the way, I wonder if this probably should build for everything, right? Not sure why do we only have that? I probably should build that for all and see where it breaks. That probably would make sense. And then, I mean, basically, I could even try to make an early release because, right now, this, I mean, yeah, the crazy thing is the early Petitboot for the PS3, of course, some stuff also doesn't build. They even segmentation for it, right? Just yesterday, I don't know, and so, yeah, C programming, they got this right kernel execution and then this stuff segmentation faults. You had one job in C, but they totally got that. Not sure what's wrong with it. Slightly newer versions and worked, but yeah, there's also, like, even I easily waste 1 hour, right? Or even more than 1 hour, right? You flash stuff on your, whether it's in PS3 or whatever, core boot and stuff, and then stuff doesn't work, you debug and you all that, and then at the end, stuff like from yesteryear, some stuff segmentation faults, like the worst thing, even for me, right? You do something, kexec-l, Linux kernel, whatever, and it's like segmentation faults, like, yes, thank you very much. What's freaking going on now, right? Some guru meditation time again. Nothing what we would not be used to here, but okay, exec, what's going on with that stuff? Probably not target specified in a Makefile font. That stuff is boots. Oh, wait a second. What does it do? Oh, this says auto reconfigure. Exactly much. Yeah, this modern stuff. I wonder if they have some proper, yeah, 2022 probably everyone should auto reconf their shit themselves, or do they have actually proper releases here? Actually, they have different. They have 2022 2.4. Actually, they have releases here, at least on this freaking Taiwanese mirror. Maybe. All right. Wait a second. This is. Do we have this straight from kernel.org or 2022? You need to YOLO you. What comments do we have there? Welcome everyone. How many years did it take for you to understand Linux kernel properly? I mean, and this it was a decade. It was yeah, and all the PS3 stuff. I mean, understanding the kernel, I mean, maybe like 2 or 3 years, but that was like from like 1998 to 2001 or something of that sort, I would say, or 1996 to no, actually, yeah, actually it was like more 1996 to 1999 or something. But I mean, also outro frames. I also need to rush soon. Actually, I'm a little bit, as usual, not that late yet. Oh, they also fill in. Yeah, you see, you're probably the best live channel on all of YouTube. Best Linux live channel on all of YouTube. Also, nothing like a kernel update here in the middle of everything. Need to be a little bit careful now because I have here now also a stable text that I'm currently still working on. Nothing like doing everything in parallel. I think that should be a what if a package Linux not found? What the heck? Did we mess something up? We messed something up with some. That comes when you have too many working copy changes. I just resurrected this trunk the other day because I'm in the other. Still, I'm not yet sure. There's also some craziness going on with LVM Clang. I actually wasted another 40 minutes rebuilding LVM Clang and Mesa and stuff. There's also some strange stuff going on. Nothing like regressions every day. Nothing that we also would not be used, would be used to. Should we straight commit that, or should we do at least 1 second of build maybe, and then also okay, executils. Why does it not autocomplete? Tools. Of course, tools. Half of the Linux stuff are named tools, the other stuff half are named utils. Also, I did that apparently in a little bit of a fail, because I did this in my tech, which is, I just said, need to be careful. Let's do that again with, maybe they release a auto-confiscated tarball, if we are lucky. So that would be, like, maybe copy this, and then, otherwise I have to stretch from Git. That's not what I wanted. Do they also, wait, they release that now straight from Git? So kernels, what was it, utils or tools, or, okay, there is not, oh wait, they release perf now? They really release some perf now. What is it, 2 meg? Wow, can we actually use that? New discoveries every day. Tools, do we have more? Utils. Here. Good guess, we have that. Wayland copy and paste. Russian roulette. Wouldn't love that. In the year of the Linux desktop, 2.0 exit. It's better selected twice, otherwise it will fail the first time anyway. So need to wipe the previous. We also could directly add that to, should we? Maybe we do this as a second step. So we have some comments, and welcome everyone. You also want to share, like, and subscribe for proper introduction to those special systems and more work on this stuff. Finally been able to catch up one thing. Yeah, welcome back. And yeah, I mean, we are, I was actually not working on the PS3. You see this is auto-confiscated so much to downloading the Git tag. Yeah, I'm obviously not working full-time on the PS3 stuff, only once a month or so. And I also should really go now. Yeah, welcome everyone though, and don't forget to share and subscribe. The more you share, like, subscribe, GitHub sponsor, YouTube membership, and GoFundMe and Patreon and stuff, the more I can work on this stuff, because otherwise I need to earn a living in between. What did we build there? Okay, Linux that builds. Can commit that too. That certainly looks good too, and we could quickly check this perf stuff. I wonder if they, where was it? Was it kernel? Yeah, the sorting, as you see. Wait a second, Linux kernel tools perf. Yeah, why one thing is there and the other there, who knows? So that was, okay, that's not that long ago. I only hope that is, like, complete. should we maybe check? That this extracts to something. Did say because the benefit is, it looks like that actually really would work. That is amazing, because for years I didn't have a proper release of this stuff, and then we downloaded the whole Linux kernel, which is of course rather wasteful. It's maybe a tiny little bit down date, but I take a tiny little down date over wasting so much bandwidth. For example, even for myself, if I'm would have failed, Stoxis is broken, and I've worked abroad in my car, 10 train. You get the idea. We can probably use that and add 0 here. It's a little bit unexpected, but certainly welcome. Because then the difference is only loading, what was it, 2 megabyte instead of, 2 megabyte instead of, what is the other, 50 megabyte, 200 actually. We can check, download mirror Linux of 515, 126, 120 megabyte. So that is certainly nice. Environmentally more friendly download. Let's also see that it builds. And I'll explain about this project so many to this live stream. Happy to hear that. Are you one that I communicate with people? I'm communicating with a couple of people from the PSX scene. Not sure if you're one of them, but maybe not. Thanks for sharing. The point of this development systems are, of course, making the development for me easier. This DECR 1000 I can start remotely. I only need to get Linux going, and in general, of course, twice the memory, and maybe another video output for another day. So that worked too. Dated performance dedicated release. Download something of that sort. A little bit of a win-win actually, a little bit unexpected, but that was a nice one. Also the KXX tools. Now I need to run. Real life is calling. I overdid wasting my time on this stuff yesterday and today. Anyway, so let me know in the comments below what you think. Did you use Petitboot anywhere else on all the fancy IBM gear? And otherwise, the idea of making the T2 initrd even more amazing for all the other architectures. That sounds well. Some of the features I need, ironically, anyway. Like I never needed secure shell on the Petitboot on the PS3, except now maybe with remote booting, but actually want that now for the data center and maybe my personal workstation. And now the people, I remember your name. I know the names, but I was just not sure if you belong to another Twitter handle or Discord. But yes, I'm probably not. But thanks for sharing and thanks for rejoining. And always asking, possible to have an open source Dooms report on the system. I mean on the P3, I would need to check did they release the source code? I lost overview, maybe they did already, right? They often release stuff in the GPL, here they did. Need to check the system requirements. And certainly this, don't know whether that was ported. Again on the P3, the porting to the cell is relatively time consuming. But yeah, wait a second, don't tell me I committed that. Oh shit. Did I say I need to be careful? Darn. That is when you rush stuff live on YouTube. Now I mean, it's not the worst thing. Now we... shit, I committed that now into... Yeah, this is now a little bit of a fail, but nothing that we would not be used to. SVN merge that revision from HTTPS. It's not how you're supposed to do it, but how you can at least fix it up. This missing subtrace. What? Merge revision as T2 checks. What? Merge tracking not allowed. What? What's going on there? I really hate this shit though. This is completely, I probably should check. This is some new shit that always goes sideways. I should not have committed this to the tag. It's certainly a nice fix to have there, but that's not what it is. Need to be more careful. I should not have a normal working copy checkout of the tag though. So that's it for today. I hope you learned something. Looking for your comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and talk to you soon for more fun stuff to come.